Hi, I'm Jen Lucas, knit and crochet designer, and today I'm going to show you how to make a tassel. A tassel is a great adornment to add to any knitting or crochet project, and they're actually pretty easy to make. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to make a tassel today, so let's get started. So there's a couple different ways that we can make tassels. We can do it this way, which is more like a larger version of just fringe, or we can make this larger tassel here. I'm going to start by making this smaller one right here. So to start, you're going to need something rigid, like a book or DVD case. You can use cardboard too, as long as it's a thick, sturdy piece of cardboard. And so to start, I'm just going to take my yarn and wrap it around my book a few times. To do this smaller sort of fringe-like tassel, I'm just going to wrap it around about 4 times, and then I can slide it off. And then cut it. So basically what I have here is just a loop of like 4 strands of yarn put together. So I can trim one side here. So I just have my 4 strands. And then with a crochet hook, I'll just go to whatever I want to attach it to, and I'm going to insert the crochet hook and pull through all those strands of yarn like that. I'm left with a loop here. And I can just take this yarn and loop it through like this and pull tight. And then you would just repeat that process wherever you wanted your little mini tassel to be. And then you can take this end, you can see it's kind of uneven. You can just take it and trim it to whatever length you want, just like that. So now we're going to make this larger tassel like this one. So again, to start, we're going to take our book and we are going to wrap the yarn around. This time you're going to want to wrap a lot more yarn around. It really depends on how thick you want your tassel to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and wrap. You'll probably want at least 20 to 30 wraps, but you can go up to 100 times wrapped around to make a really large puffy tassel. So I'm just going to keep winding. This would be great if you have yarn leftovers too. You can make a multicolored tassel to add to the end of your project. Okay. So now we have a bunch of yarn wrapped around, so I can just snip this end. And again, we're just going to pull that off. So we have a loop of yarn like this. The next step is we're going to cut off a length of yarn. This is going to be for our end here, so you'll probably want a minimum of 8 inches, but if you want this to just hang down longer, you can make this longer. So we're just going to go ahead and cut off a length here. And we're going to bring it through our loop like this. And then we're going to go ahead and tie it by going over and then under, over and under, and then going the other way, going over and then under. And pull it tight like that. And then I don't really like these ends to be hanging out, so I'm going to go ahead and just snip this close to the knot. This knot's very tight and secure, so it's not going to come undone. And then I take this knot and put it to the inside of my loops like this. So we have something that looks like this. We're going to take this loop, the loop we just knotted, we're going to twist it a couple times like this. And then we can just loop it around and through and pull the knot tight like that. So that's the first step. So that's making this part here. So now we're going to add this part here to make the tassel. Again, we're just going to pull out a length of yarn. I like to make this a little bit longer, maybe 12 to 18 inches. And then we're going to wrap it around. So you're going to take this yarn and put it about in half like this, and then take one end and wrap it around one way. You want to make this snug but not super tight. And then we'll leave an end so that we can tie a knot. We'll take that other side and same thing, we'll just wrap it going the other way around. Like that. So now we have two ends. We're just going to tie a knot the same way we did before. We'll go over and under, over and under, and then we're going to pull that tight to our tassel and then go over and then under the other way and tie that tight. And then again, I'm going to snip these ends. And that's it. And then if you don't want this knot to show, you can take all this yarn that you wrapped around and sort of just use that to tuck your knot in. So then you can't even really see it. Just like that. And then just like before, we're just going to trim this. So I don't even cut it in half at this point. I just trim it. I guess it would be like cutting hair. And just trim it like this. And you can trim it to whatever length you want. And if you have like a few little bits hanging, you can just trim those up. And there's our tassel. So like I said, then you could either just hang this from whatever you want, or if you want to attach it to whatever you have knit or crocheted, you would just take this loop here and actually cut it. And then with a tapestry needle, just take your ends and weave them in. So I usually start this by first taking one end through and tying it. And then I would just take my two ends and weave them in like I normally would. And that's how you make a tassel. So that's it. You can see that they're super easy to make once you get the hang of it. And what's really great about tassels is that you can use the yarn that you were using for your project, or you can even use your leftover yarn to make a tassel that is all different colors. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and be sure to check back soon for more tutorials.